G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now, National Anti-Corruption Commissioner Paul Brereton is under investigation for the second time for misconduct. And if he's found guilty this time, he really has to go. He should have gone the first time, but he managed to stick around. He dug in. And the Labor Party seemed to have leaked a document or documents to the ABC, letting them know or letting the public know that they're not happy with Commissioner Paul Brereton, which in effect is a constructive dismissal. They're letting him know he either needs to resign or he will be sacked. But whether the Labor Party leaked the document to the ABC or not doesn't really matter. The information's out there now, and it shows the government aren't happy with Paul Brereton. He's becoming an embarrassment to them. And I've just published an article on the matter, and it's titled Labor Throw NACC Commissioner Paul Brereton Under a Bus. Will he resign or be sacked? And that's published on the Sunday the 10th of May 2026. And the article starts off, the Labor Party leaked to the media on the 5th of February 2026 private communication between Attorney General Michelle Rowland and NACC Commissioner Paul Brereton, which is clearly designed to embarrass Brereton and have him removed either by the resignation or sacking if need be. National Anti-Corruption Commission, NACC Commissioner Paul Brereton, who has previously been found to have engaged in officer misconduct by failing to recuse himself in the Robodebt investigation, is again under investigation by the Inspector of the NACC, Gail Furness SC. This time, Brereton is under investigation for suspected agency maladministration or officer misconduct, and again for failing to recuse himself when he has a conflict of interest. Labor Party leaks to the media. On Thursday, the 5th of February 2026, the ABC published an article titled Attorney General asked Anti-Corruption Chief to explain himself after defence ties emerged, which starts off, Attorney General Michelle Rowland served the head of the National Anti-Corruption Commission with a blunt please explain letter last year, in which she reprimanded him for failing to adequately address the precise nature of the ongoing connections to defence. Paul Brereton has been under sustained pressure over those links. After revelations by the ABC, he was granted an age extension to continue to consult for the body that carried out the Afghanistan war crimes inquiry and did so on the NACC's time without the knowledge of the corruption watchdog or the government. Your recent declaration of interest and your earlier declaration of interest provided to the former Attorney General on the 11th of August 2023 did not provide details of the nature and extent of those activities you are undertaking at the request of the IGADF, Ms. Rowland wrote on the 12th of October in a letter obtained by the ABC. No declaration was made of the extension in June 2024 of your compulsory defence retirement age to August 2026, nor did the Commission's responses to questions at Senate estimates in February 2025 adequately address the nature of your ongoing engagement and provision of advice to the IGADF. ABC says later in the article, a separate 9-page response from Mr. Brereton to Ms. Rowland on the 22nd of October, also seen by the ABC, defended his approach and disclosures, declaring he did not disclose the precise nature of the continuing involvement because he did not consider it material. When the journalist says, also seen by the ABC, that means it had to have been a leak. The journalist does not say what the source is, nor do they say who or what was the source for the Rowland letter. There could have only been one source for the above leak letter, and that is from the Office of the Attorney General, Michelle Rowland, as NACC Commissioner Paul Brereton was not going to leak against himself. The following day, on Friday the 6th of February 2026, the ABC published an article titled Former Attorney General Mark Dreyfus warned anti-corruption chief to manage and avoid conflicts, which starts off, former Attorney General Mark Dreyfus warned Paul Brereton he would need to actively manage or ideally avoid any perceived conflicts of interest related to defence ahead of him taking on the role of National Anti-Corruption Commissioner. A letter provided to Parliament by the National Anti-Corruption Commission Inspector Gail Furness provides new insight into the expectations set by the Albanese government for Mr. Brereton well before he began facing criticism over his disclosures to Parliament about his ongoing advisory work relating to the Afghanistan war crimes inquiry. Mr. Dreyfus wrote to Mr Brereton on March 30, 2023, asking him to develop and implement a robust conflict of interest management plan in relation to his continued involvement with the Inspector General of the Australian Defence Force. It also asked him not to undertake any new or ongoing formal work for the body once he became Commissioner in July of that year. And I go on to say in the article, the source of the Mark Dreyfus letter is identified as a letter provided to Parliament by the National Anti-Corruption Commission Inspector Gail Furness, but there was no source identified in the first ABC article about the Michelle Rowland letter, which points to it being a leak from Rowland's office. When a government leaks against a public servant, you know their time is up, and they would know as well. It is what is called a constructive dismissal, where they are trying to get the person to resign so they can avoid sacking them. The leak also sends a clear message to the Inspector of the NACC, Gail Furness SC, that the government wants Paul Brereton gone, and she better do a good job with a new investigation into Paul Brereton. It should be noted the Inspector of the NACC, Gail Furness SC, protected Paul Brereton when she investigated him in 2024 and found he had engaged in officer misconduct. Her findings were predetermined and the bare minimum she could find, given all the evidence. Given this is the second time Paul Brereton is being investigated for the same charge, officer misconduct, for concealing a personal interest and failing to declare it, and or accuse himself, he has to go. Gail Furness SC tries to protect Paul Brereton again, he'll have to go as well. And the government has let her know that with the leaked letter from Attorney General Michelle Rowland. It is also worth noting that Deputy Commissioner Nicole Rose will be leaving the NACC to relocate overseas. Nicole Rose is best known for originally sweeping the Robodebt investigation under the carpet with the help of Commissioner Paul Brereton. I have to wonder if Nicole Rose was tapped on the shoulder and told her time was up. Independent MP Helen Haines, who has been a big supporter of the NACC and is Deputy Chair of the NACC Oversight Committee, has finally woken up to the fact that the NACC has failed, as per the video I'm about to show you from the 11th of February 2026, where she asked the Attorney General Michelle Rowland about the NACC's failure. And I'll show you that video now.
In the almost 3 years that the National Anti-Corruption Commission has been operating, there's been one finding of officer misconduct, a new investigation of officer misconduct, and no public hearings. The NACC's most significant investigation had to be reopened and referred to an independent assessor. The public has heard more about the Commissioner's conflicts of interest than findings of corruption. Attorney General, do you accept that changes are needed to restore public confidence in the NACC?
Call to the Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for her question. And I note both her long-standing involvement in the establishment of the Commission and also the important work she does as part of parliamentary oversight. The honourable member continues to do that in a principled and consistent manner, and my response will reflect that. Mr Speaker, the Inspector of the National Anti-Corruption Commission has announced that she will investigate complaints about the NACC Commissioner's involvement in defence-related referrals and the Commissioner's ongoing role with the Inspector General of the Australian Defence Force. Mr Speaker, as the House will know, the Inspector is independent of the Australian Government and from the Commission. And it's also important to note that the Inspector is not subject to anyone's direction when performing her functions. The member also raises issues regarding the NACC's work and some of its findings. Mr Speaker, this government was elected on a platform of legislating an independent anti-corruption commission with strong oversight. That oversight is working as intended.
The NACC is not a baseball league that has a rule of 3 strikes and you're out. 1 strike, officer misconduct, and that should have been the end of Paul Brereton as NACC Commissioner. But a 2nd strike of agency maladministration or officer misconduct has to be the end of Brereton at the NACC. Otherwise there will be calls for the Attorney General to go, and Michelle Rowland knows it. The NACC was designed by the Labor Party and the Liberal Party to conceal corruption, not expose it. And Commissioner Paul Brereton was in on the joke from the start, but he has become a liability for the government. They want him gone now. If Paul Brereton digs in as NACC Commissioner and refuses to go, it could get ugly, as it requires both houses of Parliament to vote to sack him, as per Section 250 of the National Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2022. Now, if you go to my website, Kangaroo Court of Australia, click on that article. There's a lot of links to further information. And I'm an independent journalist, and I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself. And I've been running a campaign to help make sure I can keep on doing the work I'm doing. I'll read that out to you. 24 weeks ago, I launched a campaign with a simple goal: find 200 new monthly supporters so I can keep doing this work as a fully independent journalist, running this website and YouTube channel without corporate backing or paywalls. Since then, 169 wonderful people have stepped up and become monthly supporters. That's huge, thank you. We're now at 31 to go. If you've been enjoying the work and aren't yet supporting monthly, I'd be incredibly grateful if you consider joining them. Here's the situation. Like most independent journalists, I'm basically a one-person small business. Right now, a lot of us are feeling the squeeze, just like many small businesses and the households are. To stay afloat and keep bringing you the reporting I do, I need roughly 200 more people, or 31 now, chipping in whatever they can comfortably afford each month. Anything from $3 to $100 or whatever works for your budget makes a real difference. If that feels doable right now, you can see all the donation options on the donations page on the website. I'll put a link to the donations page below this video on YouTube. Your support, whether it's a monthly donation or one-off donation or just sharing my work, what helps independent voices like this one alive. And please do your bit and help shine a light on corruption and share this video on social media. Please hit the like and subscribe button and notification button on YouTube. That way you get notified when I publish new videos. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.